The Bills are now short a head coach, and everything you said about building a defense and making sure the quarterback feels good about it probably applies to Buffalo with Josh Allen and where he is and what he wants to see happen with his team in the future. Where do you stand on the type of coach the Bills should hire, and how much change do you expect to happen here with the Bills this offseason, trying to take advantage of Josh Allen and him still being in his prime?
Yeah, you know what? This was the biggest shock for me in the NFL this year. Now, I had heard this was a possibility, and throughout the end of the season. But I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, Bean not getting it and McDermott getting it shocked me, because I heard the whole conversation about this is Josh Allen's best chance to win it because of teams that aren't in it. But this team was not there. It was not there. Like, I'm just telling you, like, as I looked at them, you weren't scared of the defense. You weren't scared of any receiver they had. They ran the ball especially well. And look, Allen didn't play good last week. He played bad. Like, he was part of the problem, right? You got to protect the football. He did not protect it. But as I look at that team, this would not have been the year where I would have laid that on McDermott. And so I was surprised by the firing. And I would say this, like, I would want to get a manager of all. I wouldn't just necessarily go get a offensive coordinator or I would go get a guy who I felt like could help me in all three phases. Because you just heard what I said, and I believe strongly in they got to get their defense better. And drafting two Pro Bowlers since you drafted Josh, that ain't enough, man. I'm just telling you. Like, surrounding your best player with other great players is vitally important. And right now, they're just not there. And so they got to either go do it through the draft, through free agency, but getting a guy who can manage all three phases is really the most important to me. The culture's there. The stability, the vision that McDermott has will stay in place. And I lived through this with going from Jim Mora to Tony Dungy, right? We were already a pretty good team. We had a bad year with Mora. They fire him. Tony comes in. I think we won 12 games. I don't know, 8 years in a row, whatever it was. But it was, and it was all, but we had a good foundation. Buffalo's got a good foundation. They weren't good enough to get where people thought they should get to. And so whoever comes in, they better be ready for a firestorm. Because if Bean and Pagel believe that this team should have gone further this year, you better go win the Super Bowl, because there ain't, getting to the division and winning playoff games each year and that not being enough is a tough ask in our game, especially watching what the Patriots have just done this year and knowing that's going to be a division foe for the next decade, with maybe if it may stay healthy.
How much does it fall on Josh, though, Jeff? I mean, you just mentioned not managing the football. Like, that seems to be like a 3 year ago problem where it was like this guy makes bad decisions in big times and big games, and then he got through that, and then all of a sudden it was Mahomes was a problem, or Burrow was a problem, or the defense couldn't make a stop. I don't think most people on the bingo card would have managing the football as an issue at this particular time in his career. So how much of it is it on Josh?
A large majority. This past week, he was culpable for the loss. Like, when you think about the end of the first half and just being lackadaisical with the ball, even the interception, like the deep over on the right side, that ball is underthrown, man. Like, if he throws that ball out in front, it's not an interception. It might not be a kick, but it's definitely not an interception. And so he threw bad balls. He didn't protect the football. Here's the difference. Like, I'd never blame Josh Allen. Like, when they walked off the field with the lead against Kansas City with whatever it was, 18 seconds, I can't remember what the time, but you know what I mean. And they end up losing that game. Like, Josh Allen played well enough to win. He did not play well enough to win last week. Now, even if they did win, I would have told you that. He didn't play well enough. The team around him, carried him in this one. He didn't do his. And he didn't, and he knows he didn't do his part at that week, and that's just unfortunate because it's the biggest game of the season, and you don't play your game, and you play probably your poorest game, and to your point, regress back to what you did, quite a number of years ago, which is we're not expecting that. It was disappointing. I said it on television this morning. Most disappointing, player for me this week was Josh Allen. I never thought I would say that because he has more than stepped up come playoff time. But this was a poor performance, and unfortunately, you got to own those the same way you own the good ones.